Hello, my name is Resham Pursani, and my mission is to empower women to take control of their own health and happiness. I do this by realigning and reuniting you with your authentic self, your true divine essence, your unique rhythm in this lifetime. And I help and support women who are very in their heads and disconnected with their bodies to open their hearts, cultivate deep, powerful awareness, and identify any sort of limiting beliefs and emotions that are stopping you from living your best life, a life that is truly liberating, operating from love and intelligence, and in flow. And I do this through many different modalities, such as Neuro Somatic Flow, Theta Healing, meditation, breath work, dance, yoga, journaling, just a lot of cool, fun things. So today in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about embodiment and sharing my personal story on how I found embodiment and how it transformed my life and how you can apply this in your day-to-day lives as well. Before we begin, let's just place both your hands, both palms together, thumbs touching the chest, closing our eyes and just taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Do this 2 more times. And just thanking yourself for being here, for being present. And to open yourself to new insight, new information, and new possibility. And gently open your eyes. All right, shake it off. If you've been sitting, maybe give yourself a little shake, give yourself a little wiggle, do a nice head roll, whatever you need to just sit with me here for the next 45 minutes or so. So let's begin with defining embodiment. What does embodiment really mean? Embodiment is the subjective experience of your body, and your body is who you are. We are constantly revealing ourselves, right? The way we talk, the way we walk. Even right now, how are you watching this video? Are you sitting there taking notes? Are you perhaps, trying to finish up a chore, washing the dishes at the same time? Or are you on the phone, not really paying so much attention? So we're constantly revealing ourselves. And one of the main principles of embodiment is awareness. And through awareness, there is empowerment. The more aware that we can be about our patterns, our habits, our ways of thinking, then the more empowered choices we can make in our lives. The more we can look at life as if it is happening for us and not to us. So embodiment is super powerful. It allows us to practice present moment awareness. It allows us to invite pleasure in movement. It is a very experiential thing. An example of this could be, I could give you many books on kissing and how to kiss. But until you actually go do it, until you actually experience it for yourself, you're not gonna really know how it works, right? So what embodiment is not, it is not about athleticism. It is not about performance, about making a nice shape. It is really about the felt experience within. Embodiment is not just about self-awareness, but also about self-leadership and social leadership, right? We can't really lead if we don't know how to listen. We can't listen if we don't know how to self-regulate. And we can't self-regulate if we are not aware of how we are revealing ourselves on a day-to-day basis in every single moment. What I found to be extremely true is how you do one thing is how you do everything. the more aware we are of our patterns and our states, the more we can take aligned action in order to live our best life and just become a better human being, a better mother, a better daughter, a better boss, a better colleague, so a better friend. So yeah. All right, so Resh, why should I care about embodiment? Why now? What does this have to do with me? Well, we live in a world that rewards flawless masks. From a very young age, we've been told how to think, how to look. You know, it's been more about conforming in society rather than standing out in society. And just our systems, the way our school systems are, the way I've been brought up, it's just been super masculine, right? Like very, very goal and reward driven, very competitive, very like dog eat dog world and survival of the fittest. And because of the way our world, our humanity, our civilization has progressed, there is so much disembodiment. There are so many people that are living so disconnected to their intuition, to their inner voice, to their true calling, to their true purpose in life. You know, a lot of people are just living on autopilot. They just wake up and they go to work and, you know, they do their duty, and there is no passion, there is no joy, there is no high energy, right? A lot of people are just surviving and not really thriving. I feel like COVID, in that sense, the pandemic, has been such an incredible, a very horrific thing, but also such an incredible blessing, because it's allowed everyone to just stop, just pause, like stop working, stop doing. It's time to just be. It's time to look and reflect and reevaluate, like, is this really the life that I want? Is this the way my patterns, you know, how I am? Is this really making me happy? Is it making the people around me happy? It's really allowed us to stop doing and step into being. Stop thinking and step into feeling, right? And Dr. Joe Dispenza explains this beautifully. He says that if thoughts are the language of the mind, then emotions are the language of the body. And a lot of us, including myself, have completely forgotten how to feel. You know, we've forgotten how to feel. I mean, think about it, right? It doesn't make sense because we live in an age of information. All the information that we could ever want is literally at the tips of our fingers, right? There's so much advancement in technology, in medicine. And if you look at the statistics today, worldwide, globally, it just doesn't add up, because suicide, depression, anxiety, cancer, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune conditions, all of this just keep increasing. And we need to question why? Why? What is happening? And I've come to the conclusion that it's because, you know, a lot of us are just really focused on mindset, right? And we're seeing a lot of this. We've seen a lot of this over the past, you know, decade, right? Oh, change your mindset. And what's happening is people are so focused on mindset that they've forgotten about heart set. And we need to move from head to heart. And this is what embodiment is all about. Through practicing embodiment, we can reach a place of inner authenticity. And Brené Brown has an amazing quote. She says, "Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are, who we truly are inside." So it's not about information, right? Because we know everything, right? We know that eating that tub of ice cream isn't good for us. We know that, you know, we probably shouldn't be having that cigarette, or, you know, probably shouldn't be having that extra glass of whiskey, or I don't really like hanging out with this person. Like, they really make me feel really bad about myself. And yet we do this. We're doing this to ourselves constantly, all the time. We're putting ourselves in these situations. And it's because We don't know the difference between pain and pleasure because we are not connected to our bodies. So before I talk further on the practice of embodiment, I'd like to share my personal journey and my story with you. I have been really lucky and blessed to have two beautiful parents that really gave me everything that I could have ever wanted. I never felt like there was any sort of lack in my life. And I was lucky enough to turn my passion of dance into a very successful career. I was the type of person, I would go out 3-4 times a week, have dinner with one group of friends, have drinks with another group, and then go clubbing with another group. There were moments where I would be working very, very consistently, very, very hard. And I kept pushing myself without even realizing it because I didn't know how to say no, right? Because for me, my sense of value, my sense of validation, my sense of self-worth came from the outside. It came from all the jobs, all the money, all the friends that I had. It wasn't coming from an internal space. And that is why at the end of it, no matter how many compliments I got, no matter how much money I made, no matter how many people I was around, I felt so unfulfilled. I never felt good enough. I never felt successful. I would be in a room with 1,000 people and feel so lonely. I attracted unhealthy relationships with men and unhealthy habits as well. I found myself numbing a lot through television. So I used to be the type of person that would watch at least one movie every single day. And a lot of you might be thinking, I watch TV, like how do I know that I'm numbing? Well, you know when you don't want to deal with your emotions, you don't want to deal with reality, right? A lot of us just want to come home and we want to shut off, right? What happened at work, we don't want to talk about it, we don't want to think about it. And so we numb ourselves. A lot of people numb with alcohol or they numb with going out. With me, it was all of those things, right? And TV was a huge thing. I remember during my breakups, I would spend at least 6 hours of the day, like just watching Friends, because I was so just not willing to confront my emotions and what I was feeling during that time. I lived most of my life in a very masculine way, like right, chasing after the next escape, the next project, constantly experiencing stress and not giving myself the rest, the self-care that I needed during that time. And hence that's why experiencing a lot of burnout, right? I think 2015 that I injured my left knee. So I was in a dance camp and I injured my left knee so bad that I couldn't dance for almost a year. And I was on crutches for 6 months. And for me, that was the biggest wake-up call, actually. I think that was the starting point of the deepening of my spiritual journey, because it really made me stop. It really made me stop and reevaluate and look at life and be like, okay, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? Like, why am I even chasing after this? Like, what's the point, right? I mean, I'm not getting anything out of it. It's not like it's making me feel happier inside or better as a human being. I just constantly feel like it's not enough. So what's missing? I was not living according to my true self. I was living according to what, I thought would be accepted in society. And you have to remember this is happening in a very, very subconscious level. It's happening so subtly that you don't even realize it. And it's only when we slow down, it's only when we take that time to pause and drop into the feminine, right, that we are able to really see our lives from a different lens. And through that, open up different parts of ourselves. So today, instead of always filling the space, I hold space. Instead of always being the one that's talking, I listen. Instead of always saying yes, I know how to say no. And all of this has happened through years and years of embodiment, years of meditation, of self-inquiry, of journaling, of breath work, of free-form movement. And that is why my sole purpose today is just to make you realize that this is not something that is far away from you. It's not something that's hard, right? Yes, it's uncomfortable. There is a lot of discomfort at the beginning, but with every new thing, right? With every new thing, there is discomfort. And it's when we are able to really sit in that resistance and sit in that discomfort, then new things blossom out. It's amazing. I mean, my whole work has completely changed. Like, I would have never thought that I would be here, sitting here right now, talking to you about embodiment. You know, this is just something that's just divinely happened. And this is something that you will start to experience as well. When you are living in flow of who you truly are, then you begin to experience a lot of synchronicities, and a lot of things will just kind of come to you instead of you having to chase after them. A lot of things that you want, a lot of the things that you dream about are just going to naturally come to you. And that is, I call that real magic, you know? It is our birthright. It is our birthright to live the life that we love. So we do this, right? We're chasing after the next job, the next gig, the next relationship in order to fill our tanks, right? We're always trying to conform, impress other people until something happens. For a lot of us, it could be an accident or an illness or a loss or a heartbreak, and we think enough is enough. I don't want this anymore. Something needs to change. I want something different in my life. I want more meaning. And that's the thing, right? At the end of the day, all of us are just seeking one thing, and that is to be okay with who we are inside. So how do I practice embodiment? Well, by deepening your connection to the innate intelligence of your body. Your body is not a machine. It is not a hunk of meat. It is a thinking, feeling, creating thing. I mean, just imagine if we had to, direct our wombs to create a baby. Oh, just like now, make this heart and turn these stem cells into an arm. Like, no, it's just happening. Our heart is pumping blood. We are breathing. Our immune system is functioning and keeping us alive. Like, all of this is happening automatically, right? It's all happening at a very subconscious level. There is so much intelligence in here that cannot be accessed merely through the mind. It can only be felt. So I invite you to ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your relationship with your physical body, right? If 10 is, oh, I love every inch of myself, I'm super confident, and 1 is, oh, I feel really insecure, feel horrible in my body, I don't feel comfortable, I don't want to even look at myself, then where do you stand on this scale? This is a very important thing to acknowledge so that you know where your starting point is and where you are right now at the moment. Our bodies are constantly communicating with us. If we eat something a bit off, perhaps, it might manifest as an allergy or a rash. If we're experiencing a lot of stress, then our eye might start to twitch. We might get a headache, right? Or when we enter a dark room, our pupils dilate so that we can see a bit clearer. If we are experiencing anxiety, then our palms will begin to sweat and our heart will begin to pump, and it'll activate, the fight or flight response in our body. There's constant communication happening every single moment. But the question is, are you listening? Your brain is constantly monitoring your body to judge how you're feeling. There's a really famous scientific experiment that was done many years ago. It's been replicated a lot of times as well. Participants were put through 2 stressful tasks. One was mental and one was like a pain induction, while they held a chopstick in their mouth. So they were either holding the chopstick vertically this way or horizontally this way, like forcing a smile. And the results were so interesting. The researchers measured stress levels and heart rate before and after the mental challenge and pain task. Amazingly, those who were mimicking a smile were found to be less stressed and also showed faster physiological recovery from that stressful event. Isn't that so interesting? Now we're gonna do a short exercise together. I want you to stand up. Yep, you've been sitting down for long enough, so let's stand up and just shake it out. Give yourself a little stretch, a little wiggle. And the purpose of this exercise right now is to just bring awareness to what is familiar for you, what's more familiar to you. All right, and see how it feels, how it really feels for you in the body. So I want you to stand with your feet apart, a little bit wider than your hips, hands on your hips, and just noticing how this feels. Maybe it feels a bit more grounded, a bit more stable, a little bit more open. I want you to roll your shoulders back, bring your chest up, chin slightly up, and your arms out. So palms facing the ceiling, fingers stretched. Take a deep breath in and say yes. Just say yes out loud. Be like, yeah. You can close your eyes and do this and just observe without judging, right? How this feels in your body. Feeling how it feels to just take up space in your room or wherever you are right now as you're watching this. Sending the energy outwards. And just asking, is this familiar to you or not really? Or is this a kind of feeling that you've been longing for? Take a deep breath in. Out, say yes. Yes. Yeah. You can even go, hell yeah. Arms are getting a little bit tired though. And relax, shake it off. Shake it all off. Yeah. Now, let's try a different posture. So I want you to keep your feet close together now. Quite close, very, very close. And relax the shoulders down. Maybe drop your chin a little bit. Place your hands together on your lap. And close your eyes. And just observe how this feels right now. Energy is more, instead of going out, it's kind of bringing it in. There's a sense of kind of like making a container. Maybe there's some calmness. Maybe there's some quietness. Is this familiar to you? Is this uncomfortable for you? Just observing without changing, without judging, without anything. Just observing how it feels in the body. And shake it out. Shake it out. And sit back down. And yeah, so how was that for you? Kind of interesting that we did these 2 postures. One was really out, energy going out, chest is lifted up. And the other one was a bit more in, more closed, more quiet, maybe a little bit more serious, right? With me, for example, in the past, I was like this. And we felt it, right? We felt that, that the arms started getting heavy and tiring. And if you're here for a really long time, it can get really tiring. You know what I mean? It gets exhausting. And you need to come in. Similarly, for those of you who, did this process and felt more comfortable being in, at one point, maybe you got bored. Or maybe this felt a bit too quiet, a bit too serious for you, or you felt like a bit, it made your energy kind of drop, and you wanted more high energy. So you know that I need to be more open. So it's just so interesting, right? Just to observe where you are right now and how you are. And these things will change, right? Today, maybe it felt better to be open, but tomorrow, depending on, what your day like, what your schedule is like, all the things that you need to do, perhaps you need to be a little bit more centered, more in, right? If I were to meet a lot of people and go to a birthday party, then I want to be more out there. But if I'm having a really serious meeting with my lawyer or my accountant, then I kind of want to be centered and just listen and be more of a listener in that sense. In that really short process, you were able to discover where your energies lie generally. Are you more out there? Are you more in? So we learned about how amazing our body is, how it's constantly communicating with us, and how just an adjustment of our posture can influence the state of our mind and our mood. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you 2 easy, simple ways you can begin practicing embodiment starting from today. Number 1, through the breath. So there are many benefits to breath work, to breathing, to meditation. You can Google it and look it up on your own. But today, what I want to be sharing with you specifically is how your breath is so connected to your heart. Today, science and research proves that your breath can influence your heart rate and in turn send signals up into the brain in order to elicit more positive emotions. Before I get into this deeper, let's do a short practice together. Sit in a comfortable position, your palms facing the ceiling, just on your lap or on your thigh, keeping your spine erect. Gently close your eyes and take a deep inhale through the nose and out through the mouth. Beautiful. One more time, just like that. Audible sigh out. Just relaxing the body, bringing yourself to center. Now I invite you to breathe in and out through your nose for 4 counts each. Let's do it together. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Continue breathing in this rhythm, noticing the temperature of the air that you're breathing in. As you breathe in, it may be cool in your nostrils, and as you breathe out, it comes out a little bit warmer. If any thoughts are coming, just direct your attention back to the breath, back to the feeling of your chest and your belly expanding as you inhale, and then your chest and your belly contracting as you exhale. I invite you to reflect on last year, 2020, and ask yourself, what has shifted inside of you? What is it that you have learned about yourself, about life, about what brings you true meaning and happiness? Place both the palms of your hands onto your heart space feeling your heartbeat, and just say thank you. And as you are giving gratitude for all the lessons, the blessings, the realizations that have come through this challenging year, notice your heart, notice your chest expanding more and more. Notice your breath getting deeper, and really allowing gratitude to pour out from your heart, and just let it fill the room. Gently place the palms of your hands back down on your lap. Now honor the earth that you're sitting on beneath you. Honor the sky that is above you. Honor the space outside the room that you're sitting in. And honor the space inside your body, inside your being, inside your heart. Now let's take a collective deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth like you're breathing out through a straw, really slow. One more time, just like that. And as you're exhaling, gently, slowly, bring yourself back to the room, back to the space. And when you feel complete, open your eyes with a smile. So what we just did just now in those couple of minutes was open and connect with our heart center. And we literally created this beautiful torus field. Like, that is the energy that you are emitting right now. Isn't that beautiful? So why the heart? Because the heart is actually 100,000 times electrically and 5,000 times magnetically more powerful than the brain. 65% of the cells in the heart are actually nerve cells, not muscle cells, which means that it's a thinking, feeling organ and actually sends more information up to your brain than vice versa. So what we did just now was actually establish heart-brain coherence. And what does that mean? Heart coherence allows all the major systems in the body to work together in a very harmonious way. It sets the stage for optimum health and very high performance. And the more you practice this, instead of always experiencing all these incoherent emotions such as blame and shame and guilt and negativity, then we're able to really approach the situation or approach the circumstance with a sense of a greater resilience than what you thought was possible. There are many, many benefits to working with the heart and opening up the heart center. We know now scientifically that our intuition is not processed in the brain, it is processed in our heart. I guess this is why, right? People are always saying, follow your heart. Or if you look at the most iconic entrepreneurs and business leaders today, they all talk about how they rely on their intuition to be successful, to make the decisions and take those actions that they need to. I'd like to share a study now about this. This was done by the HeartMath Institute. And what they did was they had subjects all wired up studying their heart waves, their brain waves, their skin, and they showed them a collection of images. Some were emotionally very charging, such as a car accident or a scene in a war, and some were calm, more calming, such as pictures of a family or of nature. They used a random generator so that even the experimenter didn't know what image would come up next. So the results were fascinating, and what they found was that for the participants, both the heart and brain responded to the information and the emotional quality of the image before the computer would randomly select the image to pop up on the screen. And what was more fascinating was that what registered the emotion first was the heart. Then it went up to the brain, and then from the brain it goes into the gut. So basically, whatever sensory information that we cannot touch, that we cannot see, that we cannot hear, that information was available to us in our heart way before we saw it, and then our minds processed it. So why is this so important? Because true visionary leadership, right? True connection to your soul, to your mission, to the reason why you are here today, it comes from your heart. It comes from inside here, not from here. Not the way we have been taught in schools, right? Not the way we've been living so far. Literally just by breathing and by consciously working with the heart, which is what I do in my work, we are able to access this really deep wisdom, this deep embodied intelligence that has always been there inside of us. It's just waiting for us to tap into it and to use it. Number 2, movement. Yes. So many different modalities for you to explore here. There is martial arts like Aikido and Qigong. There is dance, there's ecstatic dance, free-form movement, there's yoga. Why movement? Because if you look at the way our universe is shaped and built, right? It's made, everything is made of matter, correct? Every single thing in this universe, the chair that you're sitting on, the trees you see outside, us, we're all made of matter. And on a microscopic level, if you were to look at matter, you'll see a bunch of atoms, and all the atoms are vibrating. So they're not just like chilling there, standing there still. No, they are moving and shaking and vibrating and emitting a certain frequency. So get this, you know what else has frequencies and emit vibrations? Our emotions. The word emotion literally means energy in motion. We've been taught that emotions are positive or negative, but that's simply not true. It's just neutral, and it's our perception of those emotions that make it either empowering or disempowering for ourselves. The problem happens when we suppress and we deny expressing these said negative emotions. So when we are children, we're screaming and crying and laughing and throwing tantrums. If you notice a child, right? When they experience that emotion, it's gone. That's it. They don't hold on. They don't have a grudge against you. You know what I mean? But then as we get older, that's what happens, because we're taught that our emotions are inappropriate. They're messy. They're not, they're unprofessional. And this is actually a very disempowering way to live, and this is what actually causes more blockages in our system, energetically, biologically, and behaviorally. Nature doesn't construct anything unnecessarily. The reason why these emotions come up is because it's giving you immediate feedback on how you are perceiving and experiencing the world externally, your external world. It is so important to bring these emotions up to light, and we can do that through movement, through moving the body. And in my work that I do with Neuro Somatic Flow is we create new ways of moving that rewire the brain and nervous system, so we are able to release trauma, release stress, release these disempowering emotions in a safe, joyful, playful way. That's why you also see, when you're in a negative state, if you're really angry or frustrated, or you're really sad, and if someone tells you, oh, just move on, or, why are you so angry? Like, just forgive. You're kind of like, it actually kind of makes things worse, right? And you're kind of like, no, this person doesn't get me, because Our body is the vessel of emotions, okay? It's not in our head. That's why words don't help. We need to access this state, this emotional state of us, through working with the body and through moving. Neurobiologist Robert Sapolsky wrote a book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. And in this book, he explained how with animals, they have this mechanism where when they're experiencing a traumatic event, like, an accident, maybe a car hit them, or they're fighting with another animal, you'll notice that what they'll do is they'll just shake. And when they shake, that literally resets the nervous system and dissipates the stress in the body. And us human beings, we have the same mechanism. But as we grow older, we stop moving, right? It's weird. Like, if I were to feel really uneasy and I were to just start shaking in the middle of the street, people would look at me and be like, what the hell is this woman doing, right? We've been taught to think that, it's not okay. It's not okay to move like that and to jump and to be, very... For women, for Asian women especially, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of guilt, cultural things that we've learned that tell us that you're attracting unwanted attention, or you can't cry, you can't speak this way, or you shouldn't talk back, or you should always listen to your elders, and etc., etc. And we really need to bring awareness to that and really look at where that's coming from, right? Because that's not coming from you. That's not coming from your biology. It's not coming from the way nature has been made, how this universe has been made, right? It's coming from society. It's coming from something else that is trying to control your deep, open, honest expression of yourself. And all of this, what happens is it creates stagnation in the body and creates blockages in our energy systems within the body. And this is then what causes dis-ease. So by moving through our emotions, we are literally able to turn those disempowering emotions into a more empowering one. We're literally going up the scale. Neuroscience says to change our life, we need to change our filtering systems. You can go to as many retreats you want, you can read all you want, and you can learn all you want, but if you are looking at life through the same pair of goggles, not much is going to shift. And there you have it. We don't change, we don't grow, we don't step out of our comfort zone based on what we know, but it's based on how we feel. And in order to access this feeling part of ourselves, we use embodiment. We use our breath and movement in order to feel so that we can heal and access deeper parts of our brain and our being so that we are able to open up ourselves to new possibilities. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed this video and you learned a little bit more about yourself, for the matter, and where you stand, how your relationship is with your body, with your emotions, with your breath, and with movement. Living an embodied life has allowed me to be truly authentic. Authenticity is just learning how to love yourself. And if we know how to love our whole being, then it's just so much easier to face our fears and, to step out of our comfort zone and cultivate trust. So let's move from head to heart. Let's create more balance and let's practice more embodiment. If you want to connect, if you're interested to know more, if you'd like to work with me and know a bit more about my soul offerings, then you can contact me at my email address or on Instagram. I have a lot of really exciting things coming up soon. And yeah, thank you again so much for listening. Have an amazing day, an amazing week, and